It's time for another mock draft here on 76ers now, but this one's going to be a little bit different. This one's going to have a twist that I could actually see happening come draft night. So let's wait no further. Let's get right into the mock draft. At the top 4 selections, this is what happened in my mock draft. Cooper Flagg going 1 to the Jazz, of course. Dylan Harper, number 2 to the Wizards. Ace Bailey going 3rd to the Charlotte Hornets. And VJ Edgecome going number 4 to the Pelicans. A pretty chalk top 4. I think those are far and away the top 4 prospects in this year's draft. So, of course, the Sixers on the clock at number 5. As of this moment, that is where they are in the standings. We'll roll ahead with them at pick number 5. And looking at the board, some pretty good players left. Kasparas Yakachonis out of Illinois. Trey Johnson, guard out of Texas, who has been mocked to the Sixers quite a bit. The big men in this draft, Kamon Malawach and Derek Queen, the 2 top centers that people have been asking the Sixers to take one of them as a Joel Embiid replacement. And personally, one of my favorite prospects in this draft, Con Knuppel, who I've taken in previous mock drafts out of Duke. I also think would be a good fit in Philadelphia. So who do I select here? Well, hold on. Wait, everybody. The phones are ringing, and we have a trade to announce. I'm calling up the Miami Heat, and I am trading down in this year's draft. The Sixers will trade pick number 5 away to Miami in exchange for pick 12 and pick 21 in this year's draft. Did a video a couple of days ago explaining why I think moving down is a smart move for the Sixers. So if you missed it, go check that out. But I think the prospects that are on the board, where they're at, trading back, getting maybe a better fit where they need on the roster, and picking up another first would be a smart move for Philadelphia. And for Miami, you know, it takes 2 teams to move up. So there'd want to be a reason that they are moving up here to pick 5. I think it'd be to take Kasparas Yakachonis. The Heat really could use a true point guard to run that offense. Let Tyler Hero run off ball at the 2. Of course, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware down there at the bigs. I don't think he's going to last until number 11 where they're picking. And so getting Kasparas Yakachonis in there, moving up for them, kind of completes that offense and where they're at right now. So Sixers back to number 11. These are the next 5 that I have going. Derek Queen, 6 to the Brooklyn Nets. Kamon Malawach, 7 to the Raptors. Con Knuppel, 8 to the Spurs. Asa Newell, number 9 to the Houston Rockets, getting that pick from the Suns. And then Trey Johnson slides a little bit to number 10 to the Portland Trailblazers. So with the 11th pick, Sixers on the clock, I am taking Collin Murray-Boyles, the forward center hybrid out of South Carolina. I think would be a very smart selection for the Sixers, considering their needs and what Collin Murray-Boyles can bring to the table. Standing at 6'8", 245 pounds, just 19 years old, out of South Carolina. Last year, just shy of 17 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.4 assists, shooting 58% from the field. CMB, as people like to call him, a very interesting skill set there as sort of an undersized big. You can see at 6'8", although he's not really a wing, he plays more like a big. And when I look at the kind of player he is, first and foremost, what stands out to me about CMB is the defensive side of the ball. A very versatile defender, can really guard 1 through 5. And I think the Sixers could use a player like that who can guard multiple positions with high basketball IQ. He's got great strength, but also very good foot speed. Just one of the best defenders you'll see, even as a 19-year-old, coming out of the draft in the last few years. I think fits the Sixers and their needs very, very well. Also a tenacious rebounder on the offensive glass and the defensive glass. Sixers, an awful rebounding team all year long. Even when Embiid does play, they're not a great rebounding team. He also makes very good decisions and is accurate as a passer, whether he gets the ball at the elbows, down low in the post, top of the key. He's not going to throw a wild pass or fumble the ball over. Very smart with the ball, which is, of course, very important. Now, he's not a good shooter from three-pointer or from the free throw line. Not an area of his game I expect to develop. So that's the drawback that you take with drafting a player here like CMB. He's also a bit of a tweener, right? At 6'8", where does he fit? Because that shot probably never going to come along. So is he a real 4? But he's also not quite big enough or explosive enough to be a true 5. But I think you'd be able to make it work on a team like the Sixers where, I mean, we saw Gershon Yabusele playing the 4, playing the 5, and he's certainly not a super explosive athlete either. Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports, very respected NBA draft analyst in my eyes, with a little bit more on Collin Murray-Boyles. operates like a defensive savant. The way he locks down every position, uses his ninja quick hands to swipe at the ball, and inhales rebounds. A special defensive presence, and offensively, a bulldozer finisher with a playmaking feel. Improving his jumper would move him out of tweener territory and into all-star status. That sounds great to me. And a player that he has been comped to pretty frequently in this draft process, Draymond Green. I think the comps are warranted. Now, it's high praise. Draymond Green, people might not like him, but a Hall of Fame level player. Right, and coming out, very similar, where the offensive game, what exactly can he do? And with his size, where does he fit? But with his defensive tenacity, of course, he did improve those offensive skills, particularly as a ball handler, and improve that jumper as well, developed into an all-NBA level player. We'll see if CMB is able to get there, but at least on the defensive end, he can wreak havoc, just like the multiple-time defensive player of the year, Draymond Green, has been able to. Do you like the pick? I think it's a great selection for where the Sixers have needs at this offseason, especially with maybe Gershon Yabusele on the way out, Kelly Oubre possibly on the way out as well. Give me an L if you like the pick, or a D if you disagree with me, you hate the player, and you do not like the pick here at number 11. Two more picks for the Sixers after trading down in this mock draft. Before we get to those, got to shout out today's sponsor of 76ers now. That is Game Time, the only app I use when I'm purchasing tickets for a sporting event, a concert, a comedy show, and a whole lot more. Last-minute tickets and flash deals is where Game Time specializes. Show you the views from your seats so you know what you're going to see before you buy the tickets. And they also have the lowest price guarantee, and prices drop on the Game Time app as the events get closer. Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier, and the prices go down the closer it gets to game time. With zone deals, you can save even more when you choose a section and you let Game Time choose the seats for you. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. And the lowest price guarantee, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets for cheaper than Game Time. Your purchase is also covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry, whether you want to maybe catch a Phillies game as they're off to a very great start in the season, or if you're big into music like I am and you want to catch a concert, maybe you want to get a laugh, go to a comedy show, you should be using the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That's right, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So after moving down, Sixers acquire the 21st pick in the first round, and I'm going to be taking Noa Essengue, the forward out of France. This is a very interesting player who, if everything hits with him and he hits his potential upside, you're looking at another maybe all-star level player, standing at 6'9", only 194 pounds. A little bit undersized, but only 18 years old, so plenty of time in his career to fill out that frame. Of course, they play overseas for ULM in France, where put up decent numbers playing in a professional league, by the way, at 18 years old. Not an easy thing to do. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 56% from the field, almost 30% from three. The shot, something he'll definitely have to continue to make progress on. But when you look at Essengue's game as a whole, at 6'9", he's also very athletic. He has that NBA level size and athleticism. Now, he will need to get stronger and add on weight, and that can help him in all aspects of the game, but that will come, you would assume, as he continues to get older and has more time in the league. Already very natural with the ball. This is a forward who can face up and attack you and get to the basket from the perimeter. So someone you're comfortable handling the ball. He's made progress as a shooter as well. The numbers aren't great yet. He's shown improvement year over year. That's what you like to see. Already has a very strong feel for the game. Very high basketball IQ, which can be rare in a player this young. And already a multi-positional defender. Someone who projects to be a plus really on both sides of the court with where he's at in his game right now. Maxwell Bombach of No Ceilings. If you haven't tapped in with No Ceilings yet, man, they are great with their NBA draft analysis. I encourage you to check them out. Sometimes he might look like a world-beating two-way force. On other days, well, he'll look like a raw 17, now 18-year-old playing in a professional basketball league. May not be ready to play a big role out of the gate. Has to get stronger, improve the jumper. Finishing has to come along a little bit, and his off-ball defense will have to tighten up. But, man, he's got a lot of the tools to project that moving forward. When I think about what he could be in the NBA, think to a prime Nico Batum. Not the Nico Batum we saw in the Sixers as he was entering the back few years of his career, but man, when Nico Batum was with Portland, this is big praise, man. He was a key piece for a team that was making playoff runs, could really do everything on the floor, very smart, cerebral player, and Batum was very athletic back in the day when he was younger. So if you're getting a Nico Batum type player, which I think Essengue, if everything hits, he can be that and even more, that, in my opinion, is a steal at number 21. Then in the second round, final pick here for the Sixers at number 35, I'm going big man, and I'm going true big man here with Ryan Kalkbrenner, the center out of Creighton. You want to think about a typical, true big center who also fits in the modern NBA. Ryan Kalkbrenner is absolutely that. At 7'1", 270. Is an older prospect at 23 years old, but I think after taking a couple of younger guys so far in this draft, and you're getting a backup center who, with Embiid's injuries, you might want to be able to step out on the floor as soon as this year, taking an older guy I think makes a little more sense and very productive at Creighton this year as a fifth-year senior. Almost 20 points, 8 rebounds, almost 3 blocks a game while shooting 65% from the field and 34.4% from 3. He is truly an ultra-reliable finisher. You can see by the field goal numbers, but with his size, he's really able to back you down, get in the paint, off offensive rebounds, very reliable there. Obviously, a tremendous shot blocker. We'll look at his numbers in his career here in a second, but just dominating at Creighton in the Big East. Seasons where he averaged over 3 blocks a game. That will translate. A strong passer out of the post as well, although doesn't really have much of a post game offensively. Not really going to hit you with very many post moves. Does have some shooting upside. There's been years and individual games as well where we've seen him be able to knock down the 3, but it's been very low volume, and I don't really project that as a part of his game in the NBA. Also an underwhelming rebounder for his size at over 7 feet tall, and really has a lack of mobility on the defensive end. Very slow feet, not someone you want stepping out and guarding on the perimeter. As I mentioned, a fifth-year senior, we saw his numbers this year, but really over his career, we've seen the steady progression. He's gotten more minutes, he's gotten older, all the way up to 17 points per game last year before bumping up to nearly 20. But look at these block numbers. That's what I want to hone in on right here. Last year, over 3 blocks a game. Even as a sophomore, 2.6 blocks a game. And when he was barely playing as a freshman, still over a block per game. That is what you are getting out of a player like Ryan Kalkbrenner. You're going to be able to see that defensive impact and see the finishing that he has as well. Now, when we talk about a player like Ryan Kalkbrenner, Kevin O'Connor with more on him here. A throwback 7-footer who owns the paint, swatting shots with his giant wingspan and dunking everything in sight. A bit strange he's not a better rebounder. We talked about that. But as a super senior, developed some sneaky passing skills and shooting skills that hint at higher upside. Now, I think he has more of a similar trajectory to somebody like Walker Kessler because I don't personally project his three-point shooting to be a huge aspect of his game in the NBA. Walker Kessler is someone who in high school actually did shoot a lot of threes, and then in college at Auburn didn't really shoot that many, doesn't shoot any at all for the Utah Jazz, but a player who really controls the paint, dominates the inside, and is able to swat shots. I'm looking for another big man on this roster. Just give me someone who does the simple things, does the things you want out of a prototypical center, that is defend the paint, that is dominate the interior. Hopefully he can become a better rebounder, but I still think good enough in that area where you're not overly concerned about it. So there it is, my latest Sixers mock drafts, making a trade, getting a little bit crazy here on today's show, but I think it's a very realistic possibility and something the Sixers should continue in the 2025 NBA draft. So grade my mock draft here today for the Sixers. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Be honest with me, I can take it.